Hey guys, so this video is a bit different. I'm going to be talking about max level 130 Storm gear. I'll still be doing a Myth solo walkthrough today, episode today, but I thought this gear setup is a little bit different from what most people run. It's slightly worse in some situations, but a lot better in others, and I'll show you why. And but let's go into the gear first. A lot of the gear is the same as normal. Dragoon helmet crafted in the Catacombs. Malistaire robe dropped by Malistaire in Darkmoor. Dragoon boots crafted in Catacombs. Sky Captain's sporting hook, the pack wand from Sinbad Horde pack, or the Iron Sultan from the Sinbad gauntlet. Aphrodite's also boarding hook also has a square jewel. I think the best square jewels are the 5% stun block, because you get a chance of blocking your stun and getting an extra round to finish the battle sooner. Aphrodite, Athame, dropped by Aphrodite, the extra boss in Darkmoor. It's to the left of the graveyard, the final dungeon of Darkmoor. Just to the left, that gold key room. You got triangle jewel. To get 100% power pip with this setup, you need two 10% power pip jewels. If you don't have two 10% power pip jewels, a good alternative, like if you have a 9% jewel or 8% jewel, you could go with the Morganth's Athame. Let me see, what was that? It's the Blade of the Shadow Palace. It gives 14 power pip instead of 10, but it gives 1 less damage. But it'll like make up your power pip to keep it over 100 if you have 8% jewels or 9% jewels. But best is 10% jewels with 18 damage. And then tier, best health jewel you have. Best one is 125 health. You got 2 circle jewels. This is where things change from normal. Normally you would have 2 18 storm crit jewels, but I think I'll show you why. I think the 6% pierce jewels are better. You'll still have 100% crit, but a little bit more a little less damage. But I'll show you why that does. This setup is better. Flygob's Medallion. I thought it dropped by some of the bosses in the 3rd area of Darkmoor, but looks like it isn't. It's dropped by Shane Von Shane, the weaker version, in the 2nd part of Darkmoor. Gives a bit of crit and 2 square jewels. But best square is stun block. You can get 4 square jewels in this setup, giving 20% block. Ring, you got the Dragoon shocking ring, extra crit, extra damage. Sockets tier, 125 is the best. 125 health is best. Square, more stun block. And circle, again, the best. The normal, normally people put 18 storm crit jewels. Storm crit jewels, but I'm going for the pierce jewels. Storm Ghulture gives 3% damage. It's really expensive. Don't really need it. Not much damage. So if you have it, use it. If you don't, it's okay. It's not much damage. Stormy Paradox deck gives pretty high crit. And Triangle, you want 10% more Power Pip to get the 100% Power Pip chance. Now pets, I've got over here. The normal pet loadout is Storm Dealer, Storm Givers, Pain Giver, Storm Assailant, Storm Boon, and Pain Bringer, and that'll give you 29 damage, 29% damage. Now these 0.6, 0.4, this is the exact stats of the damage. Usually in game you would just see 10% because it's rounded, but when they add up the damage, it'll like keep these, and if you have 2 of these, or let's see, so if you have all 5 damage talents, you would have 9.6. It would show 10, but it would say 9.6 show 6, but 9.4, 6.4, 6.4 show 6, 3.2 show 3, and 3.2 show 3. So if you add up the 10, 6, 6, 2, 2, that's 28 damage. But because of these decimals, it'll add up to 29 damage. And how you calculate those exact stats is if you go to a damage talent. Let's do Storm Dealer. There's an equation right here that you can just put in a calculator. So you have max stat pet. So max stats is 255 strength. 255 strength times 2, because you got times 2, 255, that's 510. And then 2 will. Will max stat is 260. 260 times 2 is, let's just do 260 plus 260 there. And then you got power. Max power is 250 there. And then you multiply all that by 3 times 3. And then you divide it by 400. And then you got 9.6 dealer. And it rounds to 10 and that's where you see the 10% dealer. See, back here. But so this is the normal, and normally you would go with crit jewels, but if you're going pierce jewels, which I think is slightly better, you'll need 2 more crit talents, and that'll give you 22 damage and 89 more crit. If you want, you could go with, if you do the math, you can see the 4th damage talent will give 4% more damage, and the 5th one will give 3% more damage. So if you really want 4 more damage, you can get rid of one of the crit talents and put on a damage talent. But then you'd also have to switch one of the circle jewels from a pierce to a crit jewel. So you would have 2 pierce, 1 crit instead of 3 pierce. I'll also show the math with that. And if you need more resist, you can go spellproof, 10% resist. Also, you can take out one of those if you need more resist. Now, well, like the Dragoon set, having 3 pieces in here, you get 7% storm accuracy, 5 storm damage, some pip conversion. So with the total stats, if you have 3 pierce jewels, you got 168 damage, 7 less, 853 crit. You need 837 is the minimum to get 100% crit. So you can make some gear changes if and like lose some crit for something you want, or like when you're questing and let's say max level increased, you can keep that 100% crit for maybe a level or two. Pierce, you got 31 Pierce, 29 resist, 9 shadow, 40 storm accuracy. Also, it's all of this is storm. So if you're casting like a feint or a elemental blade, you're not getting any accuracy from that. So if the enemy puts on a minus accuracy spell, minus accuracy weakness, none of that crit accuracy is affecting it. 100% power pip, 20 stun resist, some health, pip conversion, and crit block. Alright, now I'm going to talk about why damage, just flat out damage, is getting less and less impactful. So there's diminishing returns. So let's say you have 0% damage and you're hitting with a 1000 damage base spell and you do 1000 damage. Now you add on 1% more damage, so you have 1% damage. Now you're doing 1010 damage. So that increased by 1%. Now let's say you're at 100% damage. You're hitting a base of 500 base damage, just to make it equal like 1000 damage, 1000 damage. So now you want to increase your damage by 1%. That'll make your total damage 101%. 101% of a base of 500 damage is 105 damage. So the impact of that 1% damage cut in half. 1% damage is actually just increasing your damage by 0.5%, kinda. And say, here's another example. If you want to double your damage, you're doing a base damage of 100. You have 0% damage. And so you're doing 100 damage. You want to double that. You're doing base damage. To double the damage to 200, you need 100% damage, and that'll get you to 200. To get to, let's say you're looking at this and you want to double your damage again from here. It isn't 200% damage, it's 300% damage. So you need to triple your stats damage to double the damage you deal. But some stats are different. Some stats don't diminish with don't have diminishing returns. They have increasing returns, like resist. So you're hit. You're gonna be hit. There's 100 base damage coming at you. You have 0% resist, so you're taking 100 damage. You add on one more resist, and you're taking 99 damage. Now let's say you're 1000 base damage is coming at you. You have 90% resist, so it's 100 damage. Same, 100 damage. You add on one more resist, making it 91%. It'll be 90 damage. So that 1% resist is kind of like 10%. And then if you add on one more to that, it's 11. And add on one more, 12.5. And like your last two resist percentages are like 50%. Like if you're at 98, add on one more, that's 50% more resist. And 99, add on one more, that's 100% more resist, or like infinite more resist, because you're immune now. So now let's look at the gear. So this is the normal, what people normally use. 175 damage, 13 pierce, with no pierce jewels, but all crit jewels, so you can have more damage. You're doing 1000 base damage. So when you just hit normally, you do 2750 damage. But now when there's a shield, you do, oh, like, let's go back, wait. So let's compare this to this. You're doing 168% damage, 31 pierce. That's what I recommend. You're doing a bit less damage, 2.5% less, or 2.6 this way, 2.6% more. It's kind of like the percentages are different because say you're doing 100 damage, and if you want to look at 50% less of that is 50 damage. Now 50 damage, 50% more is 75. So when you take away damage, it's more impactful than adding damage. So that's why these are lower percent than these. But now let's look at when you have a 50% tower shield up. There's the enemy puts on a shield. You have 13 pierce, so that 15 is going to 37% resist, and with 37% resist, that goes down to 1733. But with this 31% resist, that 50% shield is going down to 19% shield. And so 19% less of that is that. And that's a big difference. This is where the extra pierce is much better than just 7 damage. Then you got 70%, you got a set shield. Even more of a difference. You got 38% more damage than this. And then let's say that the enemy is cheating, or has a cheat, or just casts this, like a 90% shield. Oh, whoops. There we go. Okay, so they have a 90% shield. This 90% minus 13 from the pierce, that's 77% resist, and it'll do 633 damage. But 90%, 31% less, that's 59% resist. So it's doing 1000 damage. And this is, the bigger the resist, the more of an impact. Now if you want that 4% damage talent instead of the 6% pierce, that's another option. You got 172 damage, 25 pierce. You do 2720, so a little bit more. This is comparing to this, like where I didn't, like, these percentages aren't impacting that. It's like looking at this, but you do a bit less. You do 6% less. You do less here, 8.5% less than that, and here 13.4% less. But and all you do is 1.5% more damage with when there's no shield up. So I feel like this would be a better option, but it's all up to you. You could go all damage, do a little bit more but less with shields, or you could go with more pierce, a little bit less damage but a lot more with than this with shield, or you could go in between. Or if you're like struggling and if you need more resist, you can put on 10 more resist and take out one of those, and you could still have 25 pierce, 168 damage, but instead of 29 resist, you can have 39 resist. And that's all I've got. If you have any like comments, like suggestions, gear suggestions, different stats to look at, let me know. Leave a comment. I might do this for all the other schools too. But yeah, this is what I think is the best gear. Got stun resist, power pip, pierce. Big thing is the pierce, and yeah, that's it.